So everyone's talking about Palworld. Whether you love it, hate it, or anything in between, the popular statement that has been going around that everybody seems to agree on is that this game is Pokemon with guns. Wrong, thanks for playing. 1. Palworld is more like Ark Survival, and 2. There was this other series with kids who befriended monsters, and they helped these monsters battle with devices, and it also had a lot of merchandise. That show was Beyblade, but then this show came on right after. Yes, Digimon, you know, that old thing. The original Pokemon with guns. I have no clue how popular Digimon is today. It definitely is not as popular as back in its heyday, but the series still gets games that seem to be well liked, at least now among the community. And the series was set up to try and compete with Pokemon, and we all know how that panned out. Everybody seems to think with Palworld's success that Game Freak and the Pokemon Company need to take a long, hard look at themselves and create better and more innovative games in the franchise, which is 100% true. But I look at Palworld and see the potential that Digimon can take from this game and implement it into a future game that can take the best aspects of Palworld and combine it with the best aspects of Digimon. And these same aspects honestly should have been implemented a long time ago into the Digimon games because they mesh incredibly well together and are long overdue. So Palworld has been successful in the fact that it takes the monster catching formula and does crazy shit with it, like being able to use guns and actually physically beat the creatures with your bare hands or with a multitude of weapons. Digimon is no stranger to this, and these mechanics would actually fit better in a Digimon game than a Pokemon game. No matter what happens to Pokemon in the future, I can guarantee the day will never come when you get a gun in a Pokemon game and you're able to shoot Pokemon. However, with Digimon, that wouldn't be that far of a stretch. Hell, it's not even a stretch. They have a Digimon who's a literal gun. Guns have been around in Digimon for a long time, and a ton of the Digimon use guns and rockets for attacking other Digimon and people. Digimon has also dealt with many more dark issues than Pokemon has. Yes, Pokemon has had many creepy and dark moments in the games, but those are just moments. In Digimon, those dark themes are a part of the overarching story and aren't just used for a few scenes. Honestly, there are times I'm playing a Digimon game, and if you just got rid of the Digimon, you'd swear it was a Persona game. And those same dark themes could be used as gameplay mechanics and be implemented better than how Palworld has used them. Think about it. If you overwork your Digimon, don't feed them, don't nurture them, and just don't care, you could have two different outcomes. The first being death for that Digimon. Death has always been shown and continues to be a real consequence in the Digimon universe. Just ask Leomon. Caring for your Digimon and making good working conditions would make more sense in a Digimon game, and that's already been the case in the anime with Digimon being used as slaves. The second option would be if you give your Digimon the bare necessities to live, but still treat them like garbage, it would cause different Digi-evolutions, like Skull Greymon or Shine Greymon Ruin Mode. There would be more consequences, or depending on what Digimon you want, rewards in how you decide to treat your Digimon. In terms of building bases or just structures in general, that would be another gameplay element that fits well into Digimon. After all, you're in a digital world. Creating upgrades from out of the blue wouldn't be that far-fetched. What would be a unique way to implement the building feature instead of just doing the same thing as Palworld would be jumping from the digital world to the real world. Selling items found in the digital world that become real when traveling back to our world, and purchasing and collecting those upgrades to your computer system, and it offers you access to different structures and weapon upgrades. Think of it like buying DLC, except in this case now you don't have to use real money. And those upgrades would be permanently installed so that you're not constantly having to find materials in order to build what you want, especially if you make multiple bases. And before you say, but collecting materials and building is essential to Palworld, why make it easier? It's because I'm not saying Digimon should cut and paste Palworld's game design, but the focus should be more on nurturing Digimon and building habitats for them to thrive in, so that there is more of a heavy battle and companionship focus. Palworld is a survival game. Its Pokemon roots are skin deep, The actual gameplay is not battle focused to the degree Pokemon and Digimon have been. That's why for Digimon, the focus should be on battle. But you manage your Digimon more than ever before in a unique style to also keep those elements of building, but for different reasons than Palworld. And since we're on the topic of battling, you of course would be playing as a created character that would use Digimon to battle, but also be able to fight yourself, whether through punches or weapons. Again, this is par for the course in Digimon already, where the human companions would help the Digimon on more than one occasion. And the created human character you can make would be any age you want them to be. Digimon has shown they're not afraid to make their characters older, or at least look older. Only in Japan is this guy a 14-year-old. The battling could be done uniquely. You wouldn't have to follow the turn-based mechanic like usual. They could keep the turn-based system if they wanted to, and I'm not saying that that's bad. I love turn-based RPGs. However, if they wanted to mix it up and make it feel more real-time, have the human companion ride on the Digimon, which has also been displayed in Digimon already. Or they could have the human companion fuse inside the Digimon. That way you could be in direct control of your Digimon and it would feel more like an action RPG when you're battling. Both methods could be used for different situations. If you decide to either ride or stand side by side with your Digimon, you could help deal more damage since both of you are attacking. But the drawback could be you're more prone to game over because if the human gets knocked out, you lose. And if you decide to fuse, you lose more attacking potential, but you're in direct control of your Digimon and it's harder to be knocked out. Also, the enemies that attack your base in Palworld also don't offer much of a threat in terms of what happens if you lose to them. It's kind of just annoying if they kill you. There's no huge consequence. Whereas in a Digimon game, you can make it so that these guys, if not taken out quickly, can either kill your Digimon permanently deleting them, or corrupt your Digimon with a virus. The corrupted Digimon would have to get an antivirus cure implanted in them, and you would have to go and look for it if you don't have one already. And if you take too long, the Digimon transforms and then you would have to battle it to put it down. This adds stakes to when a random attack like this could happen, and if you're not at your base when it does happen and your Digimon aren't strong enough to fend off the attack, you get worried. Imagine your Digimon that you put so much time into raising and they're your best buddy. Then one relaxing day, these guys pop up out of nowhere, and before you can beat all of them, they implant a virus in your Digimon. You don't find a cure in time, and the friend you so longingly cared for now has to be deleted by your hand. Tell me that doesn't add an element of companionship severely lacking in both Palworld and Pokemon. Multiplayer would be very interesting. You could invite your friends or play with random people and create your own Digidestined groups. And if you play with them enough, you and your friends' Digimon could create more of a bond, and if compatible, could make more powerful Digimon by fusing them in battle like Omni-Man. And the stats could overlay, making it stupidly powerful. Of course, for the people who don't want to or can't play with friends, you would still get these Digimon, don't worry. There would just have to be a fair incentive so that playing with friends would encourage people to want to do that. As for story, Palworld, at least in the form it is right now, doesn't have a story. But Digimon has always had great stories that create a good balance of fun and serious. And with each update to the game, they could introduce new story elements and bosses for the players to engage in, kind of like Final Fantasy XIV's updates. You could have the Myotismon arc, the Dark Masters, the D-Reaper, the list goes on. Or they could come up with new stories to tell. They've already done a good job of this in a lot of their recent titles, like the Cyber Sleuth games and Digimon Survive. And just like how Palworld shocked everyone from how different it was, Survive, while on a smaller scale, shocked people with how dark and scary some of those elements were being leaned into for that game. Put a lot of marketing material behind that because my god does Digimon need marketing for their games, and I think the Digimon team could actually do the same thing of shocking people like Palworld did. Digimon is a franchise that seems to have been left to the wayside, at least by the general public. By no means am I advocating for Pokemon's downfall. I've always been a Pokemon fan, and I'm still a fan to this day, just like I'm sure many of you are. All I want is to see Digimon finally get back into the spotlight as well, by creating a game that can rightfully put it there. For a long time, things like Digimon and Yokai Watch also wanted in on the creature catching phenomenon, but Pokemon just seemed untouchable. Palworld has shown that if you shake things up and surprise people enough with new gameplay elements to an established formula, you will get people interested. I mean, just look at the numbers. Digimon can do this, and I very much hope it's not just the Pokemon team looking at Palworld, but also the Digimon team, because I do think they could actually benefit more from gameplay like this. This type of gameplay makes more sense in Digimon rather than Pokemon. That being said, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you made it to this point, and keep enjoying monster catching games now and forever, because I know I will. And let's see what the future holds for all these franchises. Nath out. Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in, and I hope everyone's day is going well. I just wanted to tell you guys thank you to everyone who has subbed. We are now over 500 subscribers, so a big thank you to everyone. I'm now reaching for 1,000, so I hope you guys will help me get there. Also, if you haven't had a chance, check out some of my other videos like this one here. It'll get your nostalgia going. I promise. See you guys in the next video. Later.